Are you ready to thrive? It is time to take action. Hello, everyone. This is Jen, and you are listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. What is the result of thriving? Body confidence, mind fulfillment, and soul synchronicity. Tune in to hear about these elements and the scientifically and spiritually proven action steps to stand in confidence, love from within, be unstoppable in fulfilling your dreams, and create synchronicity so you can flow toward abundance and love. Hear real stories that will inspire you to take action today and be a catalyst for positive change in this world through creating your own Thrive life. Let's do this. Feel empowered and ignite your soul with Thrive by Jen Radio starting now.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm so grateful to be here with you. And I'm excited about today's topic. It's about finding your tribe. And we're going to talk about our tribes and what that means and really where it comes from and why we need it. And it was interesting because this conversation came up between a couple of friends. I'm in the process of selling the house and moving, and so I have 3 dogs, which is craziness. And of course, when there's a showing, I need to get the dogs out of the house. So I've been taking them down to this great spot very near me. It's awesome. You can walk down. It's on the river, and so the dogs can go swimming. And I ran into 2 friends of mine, and we got into this conversation about girlfriends, about having friends, and how things have been changing. We're all in our 50s or about to be 50, and we were just talking about how it's been an evolution of our tribe, but really why it's been so important to have them, and also when and how to deal with the change. I can't, it's I can only speak from my perspective and what I've experienced, and that's what I always try to do, is to give you testimony about my real life situations. I I have, through conversation, realized though that guy tribes are very different than female tribes, than women tribes. And for me personally, I've noticed I've had an evolution of my tribe where I'll have a core group that I've known for a very long time, and it's not though so much where we're together all the time, but they're the ones that I can not speak to for 6 7 months, and then we can reconnect once for the year, and it's like we saw each other yesterday. And then I have pockets of tribes that have been established because of my children, and that's where the conversation was going with my girlfriends, where we realized that we have these different tribes in our life, and and really the importance of them and what they've done for us, and why we love having a tribe, but how as we've been getting older, it's been changing even more so. What the 3 of us noticed was that our tribe was becoming smaller. Our tribe was becoming our daily tribe was becoming a little bit more tight knit on who was in it, and also to what we gave to it and what we received from the tribe. And so I wanted to bring that up today and get into this conversation. And what it brought back was, for me, back in the beginning of the year, we did a month long series on bullying, and it was really with adult bullying. And I interviewed different experts in the field, and they come in, and it was interesting because literally the one thing that all 4 experts talked about was having a tribe and talking about the importance of a tribe during these bullying situations. And so again, the theme, came up, and I found, when I was talking to my girlfriends, I've had I've had a lot of changes in my tribe, and I was going through a little bit of a period of dismissing the need for a tribe. Maybe just having that one close confidant. I'm very close with my sister, so I can always talk things through with her. But also I took a step back and realized that it's so important for me personally to have those, one, two, three very close members of my tribe that are here with me daily, that are kind of experiencing life with me as I go through it versus, recapping every few months about what's going on. So I couldn't help but bring this to you guys, the listeners today, because I just think it's such an important it's just an important piece of our hearts. And I also think that it's hard as an adult. I think for me, it's been hard to create new tribes. It's been hard to change tribes. It's been hard to lose friends that were in tribes that, you know, we hear a lot about people are in your life, sometimes for a season, sometimes forever. And so it's been understanding, I'll say understanding, but really experiencing those changes and what I've learned from them, what it gives me. And I also want to talk about today because it came up in conversation with my girlfriends where we had we had expressed the need to have when our tribes change to have almost that saying goodbye of the change in tribe. So I'll give you a real life, for instance, is that when one of my tribes changed, where I fell out of the tribe, it was I'm not really sure why how I fell out of the tribe. I'm not sure why we stopped speaking to each other, we stopped communicating, and what it left was I was seeking closure. I was seeking not an understanding of because I feel that this is the way it's supposed to happen, these ebbs and flows in life. But I was almost looking for communication where your tribe, right? These are people who have you've gone through experiences with, intimacy with, where I was looking for a beautiful closure of like, look, like, you know, when my girlfriends and I were talking, we are like, look, you're a great person. We're just not we're just not the part of the tribe anymore, right? We're just not, we have maybe different beliefs or different differences. We're going in different directions. And again, too, that's not saying that because we believe different things, that we can't be together. But it's also okay to say that we don't have to be part of the same tribe anymore. We can have, this is about when we all believe different things. That's what is the beauty of this world, is that we are to be respectful and we are to be loving and caring. And what I found was when the tribe was changing, we weren't being respectful, we weren't being loving. Because if you're in an intimate relationship with somebody and then all of a sudden the way to break off that relationship is just to stop communication, that's not loving and respectful. And so what I found was we were doing it with each other. We were doing it amongst friends. We were doing it and amongst girlfriends, like it's I think they call it now, that the term is called ghosting, where people just don't return text calls or phone calls or so. And that's what we were talking about needing. And so the conversation went on about, you know tribes will change and tribes will evolve. And so it really got me thinking how important it is to have tribes. I want to talk about the different tribes in our life, because I have a tribe for sports for my kids. I have business tribes. I have casual tribes. I have very intimate tribes. There are people in my life where I can share certain things with and experiences with, but I don't I don't necessarily can mix them, and which is okay. And two, what we were saying is that this is this is celebrating differences. We don't all have to like the same things. We don't all have to have the same experiences, and so it's just a wonderful, wonderful um experience when we have differences that we can all bring together and talk about and be respectful. But there's also needs that we have that are fulfilled through our tribes. And so it's important for us to acknowledge and understand that we can have different pockets of tribes based on, like I mentioned, whether it's work, whether it's home, close, intimate friendships, your girlfriends who you want to have those intimate conversations with. My boys, they play sports, so I have my sports tribe where we talk about, uh, you know, we'll have a funny political conversation, but I may not have a very intimate conversation with them about my personal life. So it's so fulfilling and it's so needed. And so that's what I want to cover today. And before we take our break, it's interesting because so tribes are biblical. Tribes, were, um, when God when we were created, we were divisions of people that were called tribes. And so it was very early on in creation that this concept started. And those tribes were that you did it for survival. It was for communion. It was for building homes, hunting, eating, communing, playing, worshiping, defense. So it was very, together. It was really part of survival. And so it was strength. It was strength in numbers. It was strength in mindsets. It was just very needed. I mean, this is where our tribes came from. So so what I'm sharing with you is that tribes are needed. This is part of what we of our survival today, of what we're looking for, and of what we need. And so if you don't what I invite you to do is to sit down, and as we go through this, think about your tribes. Think about, maybe you have a neighborhood tribe. Maybe you have, a church tribe. Maybe you have, I know a lot of ladies like to knit. Maybe you have a knitting tribe. Like, think about those tribes that you have and think about who's in those tribes and think about what you bring to it and think about what you receive from it. And as we go through the list, I want you to bring it home with you. Bring it into real life and think about who's around you, who you're surrounding yourself with, who is, and we'll talk more about that because that's so important, and how it's when we surround ourselves, we become like the people we surround ourselves with. So just so important, that says it all. That's part of our tribe. That's part of our tribe. So let's take a quick short break, and we get back, we're going to dive into what we get from our tribes. You're listening to Thrive by Gen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. Hey, welcome back to Thrive by Gen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. So we're talking about tribes today, and we're talking about I want to go through what they give us, and it's really what we give our tribe. It's an exchange. It's an exchange between the members in the tribe. And as I go through the list, I just want you to have on your hearts, you know kind of what where your tribes are, who's in your tribes, and the communication amongst your tribe, and maybe too, writing down the list of what you receive from a tribe. You can see if you are receiving those things from your tribe, and if not, and also if you're giving those things to your tribe, and if not, then maybe sitting down with your tribe and talking about it, and really strengthening your tribe, and letting and growing with your tribe. Sometimes, going back to what we say about, we become like the people we surround ourselves with. It's so true. And when we go through this list, you're going to see, and I do believe that there are going to be, like the past few years, I've had rapid transformation in my life, and it just, my tribe has changed just based on that rapid transformation. And so it's been a beautiful, I feel like it's like that um caterpillar turning into a butterfly where it's okay for your tribe to evolve and for your tribe to change. I for me, I have experienced there has been a morning time, like a morning period of l- of changing tribes, of seeing, of me leaving a tribe, of the tribe leaving me. I mean, it's not, sometimes it is there is some grief, there is some sadness. However, believing and knowing that it's part of a beautiful process. It's sort of like when we've spoken about on other shows about, being blessed in trials and tribulations. Like it's funny, more so, especially now in my transformation now, is that it's like that, what's that saying, like life is a journey, not a destination. And the more that I sit in that and the more that I experience it, every day, every minute is a gift. And I'm finding such joy and such contentment in finding contentment in turmoil. And so I used to pray for the turmoil to settle, and I just don't do that anymore. I pray for the contentment in the turmoil, because think about how powerful it is when, no matter what is happening, literally no matter what is happening, you're finding joy, you're experiencing joy. And so, and that too has been the process of my tribes changing, is that when there is a change, when it's time to say goodbye to a tribe, or it's time for a tribe to say goodbye to me, it's having that contentment and finding beauty in the process. All right, so let's dive in. So one of the most, beautiful things that a tribe gives you and what you can give to your tribe is belief in you. So there are going to be times when, your goals seem really far away. You could be in a season of your life that feels like the desert. We've spoken about that on other shows, where you're going through a season in your life where it literally feels like you're walking in a desert. You don't know where the water is. You don't know how long you can last. You don't know what's coming around that corner. And so being able to turn to your tribe and for that support, and that for them having that belief in you, for them pouring that belief in you, for them saying to you, you can do this. You're strong, you're talented, these are your talents, this is how what you're doing. So it's that pep talk. It's that, that human connection of belief, of having that belief in you and what you can accomplish and what you can do. And it's equally important that we're so I I feel like this is we do this as women and as girlfriends to each other, as friends to each other, is that we're so quick to give help to someone. We're so quick to pour that belief into someone, and we have to be just as quick to ask for someone to pour that belief in us when it's needed. And it's just, it's not a weakness. It's almost strength in weakness. It's feeling, it's community, it's strength in numbers. That's how we were created. We were created to be a tribe, because when we're alone, you right? It's like, having 5 people together going through solving a problem together. You have 5 people throwing in solutions, talking ideas and versus one person, you're trying to think of a solution, then you start to feel pressure, then you feel overwhelmed, and it happens quickly. And so with your tribe, that belief, they can pour that into you. If you have 3, 4, 5 people in your tribe, call them all up and say, look, I'm having a day today where I need your belief in me. Start pouring it in. You feel amazing. You feel like it's just such a great conversation. You feel lifted up. You feel spirited, and what happens then is then you in turn give that to other people, and so it's that constant, like a river of give and receive, give and receive, give and receive, and it's a flow, and it keeps going and it keeps going. So start it within your tribe. It's having that belief in each other, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Another important, and I love this one, is the honest truth. I just recently, someone new came into my tribe, and we've known each other for a long time. But within the last, I would say, 6 to 8 months, we've started really talking and going out to dinner and having conversations about life, and very intimate conversations about our lives. So, and what I noticed about her was she was so truthful. She was so vulnerable. She was so open that it made me more vulnerable and open and wanting to share the truth. And you might say to yourself, well, what do you mean? Were you lying before? It's not, it's, in a way, it is lying, right? When you're not being open about a situation, about what's going on, and for many fears, right, we do it for fears, out of our fears, then that's not the honest truth. And so it's been so exhilarating to have a member of my tribe where she gives me the truth and I give her the truth. And so it's not about it's not about tearing each other down. It's not about it's about somebody being truthful with you about perspective. It's someone being having an objective honesty, right? It was interesting. I was when we were talking when my girlfriends and I were talking when we met down at the river. uh, One of my girlfriends said something once that stuck with me, and she said, if you she was talking about a friend who was going through troubles in her marriage, and she made the comment to her, if you like him, I like him. If you don't like him, I don't like him. And what she was saying is that she was there for her. And what resonated with me, and what I'm going through now with my friend, who her and I exchanged the truth, is that she's in a relationship right now that there's a lot of turmoil, and her and I have been having truthful conversations about the behavior and about what's going on. And however, what I did say to her was that I'm here for her. I'm going to be here for her. So whether she chooses to stay or chooses to leave, I'm here for her. So she needs to go through her process. She needs to go through her journey. And for and part of the truth is not judging. That's true. Being truthful is you taking your judgment and putting it aside. So if you're just, when you're sitting there talking with girlfriends, ask yourself, am I being truthful, right? Because being truthful is about talking through the situation, seeing the facts of the situation, about the situation, talking about behaviors in the situation, talking about what it could, if you do this behavior, there's right, our actions have reactions. And so seeing the truth of the matter, that's not judgment. So be very careful with that. Just, telling somebody, we like to call it the truth, but telling somebody that they look really awful in that dress and doing it in a condescending way, that's judgment. Versus being truthful about, what, maybe the other dress looked a little bit better. So just, again, to just be careful with whether or not you're you're letting that judgment come out, and calling it the truth, which I've done. I'm not proud of those moments, but I've definitely done it, and it's been helpful when I've noticed somebody else doing it to me. I then can say, like, you know what, I get it. I've done that too. So I can check myself. We're going to take a quick short break. When we get back, we're going to dive back into this list of why we need our tribes. You're listening to Thrive by Gen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. Hey, welcome back to Thrive by Gen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. Okay, so we were chatting about why we need our tribes. So another why is it keeps us accountable. It keeps us. It's funny. So in a couple of my tribes, they know what I've been working on. They know, my transformation career wise and life wise. And so it's interesting because in uh with the house, with getting the house ready for sale, it's been it's literally has taken all my time and energy. And so I had to take a few weeks and postpone working on some things that I needed to work on. But my tribe would ask me about it, and they'd be like, "Hey, where are you on so and so?" And I was like, "Oh." So it's that accountability, and it gave me those checks and balances about, okay, am I procrastinating, or is it that right now I need to focus on getting the house ready for sale, and I had to postpone doing some things for the ministry. However, what was interesting was there were moments where I was procrastinating. Like I could have found that time. I could have made those pockets of time to work on the ministry. And so it's just such an amazing accountability, give and take. And so, and again, too, it's important for, in keeping the tribe healthy, it's important to have communication about my tribe doesn't ask me, they're not asking me to point out that I'm procrastinating. They ask me because they have an interest. They ask me because they want to know. They ask me because they care and they love me, and so they want to know what's going on. And so that's important, for you too, when if they're asking you about accountability, if they're keeping you accountable and you're feeling stressed, or you feel guilty, or you're feeling, like, hey, like, you're on me, stop asking me about that. Again, it's a wonderful experience for you to learn, for you to say to yourself, when you start feeling fearful, when you start feeling those negative feelings that are coming from fear, that's an amazing learning experience for you. So when one of my friends in the tribe, I call it triggering, when they trigger a reaction out of me, like, right away I'm like, okay, wait a minute here, what's going on? What do I need to double check? So, and that's what happened. It was interesting. That's what happened. I was feeling extremely, I just didn't feel good about not going forward and working on what I needed to work on for the ministry. And I know that trust me, I know that there are so many hours in a day, and I always, ask God to prioritize my day for me, to put on my heart what he wants me to get done. And so when my girlfriend asked me about the ministry, it just was a really good moment and a great learning moment to say to myself, like, okay, you know it's accountability here. I'm feeling stressed. I need to take a moment. Let me see how I can move things around, and not beating myself up. Accountability amongst the tribe should not be about beating each other up or beating yourself up. It's about uh, giving, it's about an opportunity to encourage each other. It's an opportunity to talk about, and say to each other, like, good job, you know what I mean, like, that's amazing that you're working on that. It should feel good. It should feel good. What's another reason? Well, it's wisdom. This is about about sharing wisdom, sharing, it goes back to that idea of what we talked about before about 5 people talking about the solution to a problem versus one person talking about a solution to a problem. And so you're putting this collective wisdom together, these 5 heads or however many people are in your tribe, and saying, you know, getting everyone's input, getting everyone's ideas. And it's just so awesome. It's just, it really has changed. It's helped me grow my perspective on things. It's helped me look at things differently, to see the world through other people's eyes, to see the world through other people's hearts. And it's, you just gain this infinite amount of information. And again, too, it doesn't have to be about, ideas are ideas. So in the tribe, having a conversation about, throwing ideas out there, and whether or not somebody wants to take them or use them, that's that's not the point of collective wisdom. The point of collective wisdom is advice and feedback and consults and ideas and solutions, and just being able to take that information and sit on it and ponder it and meditate on it. Just so it's just so important. It's so important. So just really amazing. And make sure, in your tribes that you're in this give and receive relationship, that sometimes we want to give. It's just as important to receive. And the giving is in that is the gift and giving ourselves. The receiving, though, is about you growing as well, and you receiving that love and that perspective and that information, and you growing, and then in turn you want to give more, right? You have more information to give, more perspective to give. So it's a beautiful give and take. So make sure in your tribe that that's happening, and have a communication about it. Have a communication about the feedback that you all give each other. And again, too, I love having an understanding with some of my tribes that I don't I can listen to their wisdom. I don't have to take it. I don't have to use it. I don't have to apply it. And that's the beautiful thing. And that sort of goes back to what I said with my girlfriend, is that I can give her all the advice in the world. And if she doesn't want it, that's okay. Like, I'm still going to be there for her. I'm still going to, if something doesn't work out, she can still count on calling me and me being there. So it's amazing. It's amazing. Another thing that's so beautiful that tribes give you is creation. So it gives you, when you're surrounded by like-minded people, the ideas that are generated for challenges, or it's beautiful creativity. Think about, somebody doesn't have to go through exactly what you've gone through to be able to give you options on how to deal with it. Or in your tribe, you might find someone that went through exactly what you're going through, and therefore they can talk to you about what to expect, or some other options for dealing with it, or mistakes that they made that they learned from that they want to share with you. So again, it's that creativity. I used to think that creativity was it was funny. It was about uh, uh, art, or it was about something tangible. You know what I mean? Like creating art or creating music. Creativity is applicable to everything. Creativity is about solving problems. It's about going through your day. It's about being organized. It's about my goodness. It's about I don't know, just changing the landscape in your house. There's so many ways to be creative that stirs up. I feel like creativity stirs up an oxygen inside of me, like it's a breath, like it's a newness. And so when you put those collective minds together, that's so amazing. It's like tons of creativity swirling around, and for you to take bits and pieces from that group, from to be creative. Another thing too that is so awesome is motivation, right? It's about motivation. I just was having this conversation with someone in my tribe uh, about looking for motivation. She wanted a motivation partner. She's working on her health and wellness, and I was like, I was like, what? Let's do it. And I it's about inspiration. I love the word inspiration rather than motivation. It's about feeding off of each other's energy. It's about picking somebody up when they're down. It's about, you know, giving that somebody a lift when they need a lift. It's about coming together with that collective energy and letting it carry you, letting it swirl around, letting it see where it takes you, what more you can do. Like if you're working out with somebody, it's about that inspiration to maybe do a little bit more, or do something different, or it's just that when you're having those days where it's overwhelmed. Everything seems to be too much. You have that inspiration from your tribe. You call them up and you're like, inspire me today. Like I need it. I motivate me, help me out here. And just so important. It's just so loving. And it's just so amazing to see what we can do for each other. We're going to take our last a break, and when we get back, we're going to finish up on this list of why it's so awesome to have your tribe. You're listening to Thrive by Gen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. Welcome back to Thrive by Gen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. So, in our last segment, I just want to finish up talking about why a tribe is so important, and I want to throw in here too, because we mentioned at the beginning of the show about finding your tribe, right? And I want you to be open about people who come and go in your life, and so we can certainly join organizations. If there is something you like to do, then find a club or find an organization that supports that, and take a chance and go. And you can also find what I've noticed in our area is we have these amazing local coffee shops, but in those coffee shops there tends to be, and these are privately owned, so um, what I've noticed about the uh, franchise coffee shops is that they'll put posters up on a community board, but it's more about fundraisers, which is phenomenal. However, in the local coffee shops, you tend to find more about community. So you find out what's going on in your community. If you have animals, join an animal walk or go to the local dog park. Just think about the things that you like to do, and then search for meetups. There's Meetup um, is a great place for you to find. In the Meetup app, you could put in the what your interest is, and then it'll show you in the area the local meetups. Because again, too, don't forget is that start thinking about your tribe as just building one person at a time. So you don't need to go out and look for 5 people. Just look for that one as you're going through the experience of connecting with that one person, and it'll come. It really will. The energy will be there, and who's supposed to come will come. So, but it takes us taking that step to get out of our comfort zone and put it out there, right? I always say it's about putting your foot in the Jordan. It was in the Bible, that's what happened, is that the Jordan River, they had to cross, and it wasn't until they put their foot in the water that the river flow stopped for them to cross. And sometimes it just means that we need to take that first step. We need to take that action, and then just let it fall into place. It doesn't have to fall into place 60 seconds later. It will fall, it'll come, it'll fall into place. Just take that action step, and then in my belief, it's let God do the rest. So just to finish up, finding having your tribe around you makes you it encourages you to dream bigger and go for bigger, to push harder. And it's not about exhaustion. It's just about, I've had wonderful conversations with my tribe about, I would share something with them, and they're like, well, what about if you dreamed a little bit bigger? What if you went for a little bit more? What if you made that dream, if you expanded that dream? And it's just a great reminder. It's just wonderful for my soul for them to say, like, you know what, go bigger. Like, you could do this. So again, and go to your tribe if and say to them, say, look, this is what I'm thinking about doing. What do you think about it? And you'll get that inspiration. We talked about inspiration. You'll get that motivation. They're going to be truthful, and they're going to say to you, you know what, you can go bigger, you could do more, you're amazing. And so it just feels so good. It feels so good. What else does the tribe do? Why do we need the tribe? A tribe is about, sharing and caring with each other. It goes back to that give and receive. It's about giving somebody inspiration, and it feels so good for us. It feels so good to give, and we're made to give. And so it's an uplifting feeling, and it's, you're there for somebody else as they're going through this. You're there to provide that motivation, and it feeds you, it feeds your soul. It's a beautiful experience. And so give and receive, give and take that with each other, give that to your tribe. And that's why too, as you go through this list, say to yourself, is am I getting that from my tribe, and am I giving that to my tribe? So it's a great way for us to grow our hearts a little bit bigger. Just make it all that more wonderful. What else? Why else do we need a tribe? It works on our stress levels. You know, there's a lot that happens to us when we're alone. We and I could do a whole show on this. It's more biblical about, when we're alone is when the enemy really can come in and work on us. It can, that fear, those fear-based thoughts, that anxiety, that depression, that loneliness, that sadness. It's about all of that can build up more when we're alone. And so having your tribe to turn to when you are stressed, saying to them, like, I'm really stressed out about this situation, help me get through this, or talk me through this. Something that I found that's been helpful for me is that I get I get very sometimes I think I don't know what works faster, my brain or my mouth. And so I get very lost in my thoughts. I get very overwhelmed in my thoughts. Like, I have so many thoughts going on at once. And I turn to my tribe and I say, look, help me make sense of this. Help me work this out, because having all those thoughts in my head when it's happening so fast, and when I can't think, and when I forget to take that breath, it causes me stress. And so turning to my tribe and saying to them, help me make sense of this. Tear this apart for me. Take this out of my brain. Help pull this out of my brain. And just this beautiful conversation. And for me, my stress goes down. My stress is relieved. And finally, which is so beautiful, why we need a tribe is that it really is about friendship. And we're clearly, I mean, this is back from biblical times, from the Bible. We were in tribes. We were made to be in communities. We were made to have that connection. We were made to rely on each other. We've become such a different society now, where we're alone, we're online, we're not getting out and meeting people. Just even a short time ago, we were talking about this, about growing up. Our thing to do in the neighborhood growing up is, after dinner, everybody met out in the street and had conversations. Everybody, met up on somebody's porch. Or even growing up with my grandparents, you went to the only thing to do was to go to the community center that was in the development, and meet there for games and fun and conversation. and we've lost that, and we've moved away from it, but that's how we're made. That's what we need. That's how we were created. So look to your tribe for that communal feeling, for that, that removal of isolation. And for those of us that feel overwhelmed with a lot of people, going just to your immediate tribe is so important, right? Because it's less overwhelming. There's maybe like two or three friends instead of going to this massive community. So we've run out of time, and I hope that this has been helpful. You guys have been so wonderful in sending me emails, reaching out to me on Facebook. Never hesitate. I love hearing all about what you're going through and how I can be of any help and support. I'm here for you. You can reach out to me at jenniferzellup@yahoo.com or reach out to me in a private message on Facebook. Everybody have a wonderful week and go out there and find your tribe. You've been listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio.
Thank you for listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on transformationtalkradio.com. Tune in live each Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, as Jen shares the action steps and real stories from people throughout the country that will ignite you to stand in confidence, love from within, and be unstoppable at fulfilling your dreams. For more information, podcast downloads, and to connect with Jen, visit jenniferzellup.com.